Welcome everybody. No members of the public. Is there anybody here who wishes to speak as a member of the public? No. Do any of you want to record over and above the recording we'll be making? No. Apologies we've had from, what's his name, Isaac. Are you all content with those? You accept them? Right. Items to be discussed in private session. There's usually quite a few on staffing, things like pay we don't make public. So which ones have we got, Rich, that we need to do?
Yeah, 30. The clerk's return to work, which is 25. The other staffing matters,
Right.
28. And
The
just,
pay awards.
and just like you've said, just be careful that you're not talking about pay or salaries or whatever on anything else, I suppose.
Yeah. And then 23, yes, payroll normally, blah, blah, blah.
Yeah, appraisals
Right.
will normally be done, but that's essentially just going to be deferred to next time, so I don't think that needs to
Do we need the clerk's return to work to be private, is it?
I think it's
I
nice.
suppose, the public knowing where she is and what her plans are is a bad thing, isn't it? So,
Well, why she's off is private.
yes. Yeah. Okay, and then if something else crops up as we go through, as long as we do it before we start talking, we can do it, can't we?
Okay.
But if an issue comes up and one of us suddenly thinks, hang on, we better not say quickly, because once we've started talking, we're not allowed to switch it off.
Okay.
Personal and disposable pecuniary interests, any? No? Any officers? Well, you've got those. You've got an interest in more or less everything we talk about, haven't you?
So as our, well, mine are the other staffing matters 28, the staffing cost 30. Last year Jen didn't do the staffing budget. She didn't treat that as an interest. I would be inclined to think it was, to be honest.
Yeah.
31. Because I was at that meeting and you did it all with us not in the room anyway. So I would
Yes.
suggest that's pecuniary as well.
Yeah.
So it's kind of up to you whether I stay in the room or not. I mean, I'd be inclined to just leave the room for all of
Well,
them.
we might need you to take us through the numbers and
Yeah.
then ask you to leave the room.
Yeah, you can do that, or you can get me back in and ask
Yeah.
questions,
Okay.
sort of factual questions. That's absolutely
Okay.
fine as well. But the actual resolutions have to be done in open session.
Right.
It can't be done
Yeah.
in private.
The minutes were here. Are we content that they're accurate and all that? Yes. Trying to think things that would be paid back. The pay for, we've covered that. We've done backdated pay awards, haven't we?
Yeah, that's when we've actually paid it and when
Yeah.
it's paid.
Right. So we're up to 24, the use of AI, basically.
So as you see, that was deferred at the last meeting, and it was deferred. Jen basically arranged this meeting with this Cloudy IT AI specialist, Councillor Blacker, attended as well. I didn't attend, the assistant clerk and the clerk attended, and Councillor Blacker. From the side of the officers who attended, I don't know what Councillor Blacker's thoughts were. They were not impressed by these people. They felt that they could have got the same information from ChatGPT for free,
Yeah.
and the kind of council kind of specialist aspect that they were trying to sell. You know, they were saying things like,
Hi, Tom.
Hi guys. This. See you later.
Hi. Don't we all love to gas?
They were kind of Gemma basically said that they were trying to play it as if they were giving us information that we wouldn't get through other means, but she's obviously quite skilled with ChatGPT. She's got an actual subscription, a paid subscription to it, so she knows how to use it quite well. And they were sort of saying that they couldn't do things while she was actually doing it there and then,
Yeah.
not disclosing it to them, but she
Yeah.
just to herself essentially. That what they were saying was just not true. But I don't know what Councillor Blacker thought.
Well, I would agree with that. Really. I mean, it was a sales pitch, really, and there seemed to be a lot of things left hanging in the air, really. Part of it is a members act, so I took particular interest in that. But I wasn't terribly impressed by that, really. And it said it can triage information and signpost, but if it doesn't know what it's doing, it will refer you back to the clerk. I really couldn't see the point, really. And I was a bit concerned about currency, which is a fast-moving environment, like, you know, the green belt, the grey belt thing, and it didn't really answer the question the way I expected it to. So I agree with the assessment of the clerk and the assistant clerk.
Right.
I don't think we should be spending money on that at this point in its development.
Is that just that particular supplier or AI in general?
No, I think we're using AI in general a lot. We
Yeah.
use ChatGPT a lot.
Well, I'm so paid for AI.
It was the paid aspects, and it was the fact that it was selling itself as a council specialist service. That's what we were looking at really, but
Right, and they're not.
well, they're not.
Well, there won't be councils who need somebody like them. I mean, we're a skilled bunch. I've got hands all over. Andy then Lawrence, or Lawrence then Andy. Lawrence.
I did suggest, I haven't gone back and looked at the previous minutes, but I did suggest that the inquiries were made to some of the other councils, whether it's our own local network or further afield through NALC or whatever, to see what their experience is of different packages. So it's not, this isn't an argument about using AI at all, this is just which one.
Which one?
And I'm assuming from this write-up that hasn't happened. Maybe it has.
No, I don't.
Doesn't
No,
appear.
sorry. I'm not aware of that having happened. Yeah. And then the bit after that, I mean, myself and the assistant clerk were talking really, and you know, everything's moving very fast now with AI, and we were just wondering about integrating the entire system. Gemma's much more up on this sort of stuff than I am, but for example, she's trying to, from her emails, she's trying to get a program to actually take out all the information to do with planning applications, so it just does it automatically.
Oh, right.
She's not been able to do that yet, but what she's suggesting is that the systems will get more integrated, where the AI is everywhere, and it's whether we'd be better off in like I'm not quite sure what the word for it would be, but if, for instance, we obviously got a Microsoft 365 subscription, they've got AI, they have a cloud storage system as well, which we don't use. We use Dropbox, but they have their own called SharePoint. And we did wonder if there was a logic to just going with one of these ecosystems, because they will eventually get so integrated that you should be able to do lots of things.
Yeah.
It'll do lots of things for you. So there's lots of things now which are kind of isolated things. Like there's a thing, for example, an AI email package, which is supposed to save you an hour a day. It basically writes your emails for you, and so you're not spending a lot of time faffing around. It'll lay them out for you. Allegedly, but you're talking 30.
It's not that paperclip.
You're
back,
talking
is it?
30 quid. You're talking 30 quid a person for that. So I think that's just that's expensive. But I think at some point the ecosystem of Microsoft, for example, will be integrated.
Yeah.
Where the email is integrated, the cloud storage, I don't know whether you've got a Microsoft 365 subscription, but now if you go onto Word, it'll ask you what you want to write, and you can type in, I want to do a whatever, and it'll lay it all out for you. So, things are,
You said that you use ChatGPT. Do we have a council funded account then?
No.
Is that something we should maybe do?
It's,
Or is
well, it's something we're
As an
discussing.
interim,
Yeah,
rather than, you know, before we get to the
Yeah.
fully integrated thing.
yeah, it's certainly something to discuss.
I was thinking if Gemma's using her own personal account, that's not really.
Well, I think it's probably not allowed.
I don't think she is at work. I mean, I think she's just using.
Because you can download free ChatGPT. I've got ChatGPT on my phone, and you
Yeah.
can get it without. You can get a simple version without paying anything. So,
On the laptop, I just tend to use Copilot 'cause it's just there. So,
yeah.
although as I you know, I mentioned the Microsoft system. I think Copilot is the one that I found that fibs the most.
Oh, does it?
Because I was. Do you remember when I was trying to find how to calculate whether we could reclaim VAT on exempt council expenditure?
Yeah.
So the actual figure should have been 50% if it was less than 50% of total VAT. We could claim it back, but that Copilot had it as 5%. That's obviously a serious
Yes.
but he presents it as quite confident because it's obviously it's an alien, isn't it? Telling you, but he was saying it very confidently, so you kind of believe it.
What's the one that Google uses then? Because certainly, if you Google something, quite often you get the
Yeah.
Yeah, and mine seems my phone is automatically on the top answer on Google. It's the AI answer. It's quite often quite useful.
Is that Google's version? I don't
Yeah,
know.
that might be right. Yeah, Gemma.
I think it might be.
It's not one that I've used, but
Was there some hardware involved with this package as well, as in picking? No, wasn't there supposed to be some microphones or something that would pick up
No.
the meeting?
I wasn't at the meeting,
Yeah.
so
No, there
You're
was nothing
hallucinating.
to do with hardware whatsoever.
Isn't it? Because I don't, right, okay.
I mean, there has been talk about having a multi-directional microphone.
Yeah.
You know, so perhaps people will hear what's on the videos, but it wasn't part of this.
yeah.
So what's the sort of summary of this and where do we go?
Well, it's clear here the Clark team do not want to spend this money.
Well,
Is there something else as an interim or are we just parking it for now?
I mean, I suppose that's for you to decide ultimately. If you want to propose, we get a subscription to ChatGPT, but I suppose it's how many you get. Well, you know, there's a team, there's a team version. Can't quite remember how much it is, but
I think have we got a system map of all the different programs we use, or all the different hardware and things you I mean, I don't imagine there's loads of them. There'll be Word and Excel, and then you've got finance systems, and I've got a map saying, you know, this is what we've got, and this is what we use it for.
I don't suppose you've got to, I mean, Gemma's very much map focused on terms of mapping out systems like that. I don't think she's done that. She's certainly mapping out bits of it so she understands how things all fit together. You've probably got more than you think. And I suppose the problem is at the moment they are all over the shop in a sense. They're from different suppliers. And so the possibility of integrating them, I suppose, is hard.
I didn't have confidence that system would do that. I think now isn't the time to make a decision because it's a very rapidly moving field, isn't it? And as you said, it's more and more integration. But what we could do is some talking to other parish councils as well.
I can say, does Yalco now suggest anything? Could we not go with guidance?
I did the training with SLCC, the Society of Local Council Clerks. It was only half an hour, so you're not going to get an awful lot with half an hour. It's kind of a lead into a longer one, but it was actually quite good. I think, as we were saying, there's lots of different AI things that are all trying to sell. You know, there was one that they were trying to not sell us on that training, but they mentioned it to us, was one that basically transcribes meetings and does it all so it looks like minutes straight away. I mean, it wouldn't be much use to us in a sense because we don't we don't minute everything that's said anyway, so, but you
No,
know,
I
this,
just wondered if there was some direction of travel, you know, that people were adopting certain things and finding them useful.
Well, that's what I was asking earlier.
I suspect though that right now we're at a point where there'll be things in 6 months that we didn't know were going to exist, and if you'd said, we'd have said, well, we
Yeah.
would never want that, and suddenly we think, you know what, that would be really, I mean, I think now is probably not the time to spend big
perhaps,
money.
yeah, perhaps.
So,
So-
so in danger of buying a beta like this.
That's right.
I think
Certainly
that's
cloud- Certainly Cloudy IT was somebody's recommendation, wasn't it? Was it NALC or YLCA? It was one of the two.
Yeah.
Because I think ultimately, NALC or YLCA are not going to have much more of a clue than we have, really.
No.
And that's the danger, is we've got to talk to the parish councils, unless you've got an IT expert who's working with them, they're just doing the basics
I
of.
think we're probably going to be wasting time contacting unless you hear of somebody who's doing
Yeah.
innovative work and has used AI to transform things. I think just ringing around, because we're going to get, I don't think we're going to find an
I think
expert.
if Gemma can, if we can, I'm happy to sit down with Gemma and go through it, coming from an IT background, working 36 years in IT and designing systems
Hmm.
and how things fit together, then I can sit down with Gemma and say, right, what have we got and what do we use
Yeah.
it for? Because the thing is, there could be some things in there where we say, well, that's that, but if we use that'll if you can get
Yeah,
things that are more likely to integrate with each other, if you do put an AI
Yeah.
layer in, you want everything to work.
Well, that's-
You don't want 4 different AI things
No,
to work with
no.
you 20 different packages.
That's
that you
why
got.
we thought there was logic to just go with, say,
Yeah.
Microsoft
Yeah.
when it's all integrated.
Yeah.
And there's, I'm sure there's other ways you could integrate stuff, but that seemed to make the most obvious and
Well, if you're willing,
straightforward.
if you've got the time
Well,
and
I
you're
can
willing,
sit down with Gemma and go through it.
we can only benefit from you and Jennifer and Gemma having
Yeah,
having that meeting.
Hmm.
And then we will be able to have a direction of travel or something approaching a direction.
Well, I think that in terms of this paragraph here, I think that's a good enough outcome. Is that?
Yeah.
So that it's probably not sensible to be making decisions now, even perhaps a subscription to ChatGPT. I'm not entirely sure about that. Whether we should just dive straight in with that, but I think if Councillor Kirkby wants to sit down with Gemma, then we can perhaps think about the next
Because we
steps.
might say we could do ChatGPT in the interim, or we might say, frankly, we don't need an interim. It's better to. Okay, thank you very much. Thank you. Next item, Jen's report, return to work. I mean, she sent us all an email anyway, or a little while ago. I'm pleased
Do you want me
she's.
to turn the camera
Oh,
off,
yes.
or
Or do you want to edit it
or
out?
shall I? I'm just conscious there'll be some things that I shouldn't edit. If there are, that I can obviously edit this because it's stuff.
Yeah.
It's not private to me.
Maybe
I'm
it's
sure.
safer if you switch it off.
Just switch it off now.
Yeah. When in doubt, switch it off. I'm pleased it's all going as planned, as smoothly as that.
It came upon from a request.
I know, that's what I'm going to, that we've been asked by the trustees of the Civic what our requirements are, which is, and there's some discussion about whether we mean space or whether we mean money or, but one of the things we do want to talk about is where you sit. Now, I know you've all said you're perfectly happy to be squashed up in that cupboard down there, but none of us is all that happy about you being in there. To be
Well, that's a different point.
Yeah.
That's two different points. We're saying that it doesn't impact us very often. We can come out here if we need
Yeah.
space and we're all in there together. If the three are in there together, it is a bit of a squeeze, but it becomes problematic. It's a different point. You as a council wanting more visibility.
Yes.
That's
Well, there are
not
two
really
things.
for us to
It's
say.
visibility, but at the same time, we want, as employers, to provide the best working conditions we're able to.
Sure.
And none of us considers those to be admirable working conditions. Andy,
Could I just rewind a little bit? You were
Yeah.
saying it came sort of from the trustee. It didn't originate there. I believe it originated from the working group.
ah,
I spoke to Jenny. and they were suggesting that there ought to be something of a presence downstairs. Went to the trustees who said, we don't know anything about this. So it had come round. and
It had
into
cropped
happens
up at
and
that
there.
meeting with the architect that we had in the
That was
Leicester
a
Hall.
separate
Yeah.
issue though. So the one where they were talking about possibly a notice board or something, or a banner downstairs, was from the working group. I suggested to Jenny, perhaps two things. Firstly, speak to the Clarkin team and find out what they might want, and then speak to Dawn and say what's possible. So that was that.
No, it got translated into something other.
But then there was a different thing
Right,
running
okay.
from the visioning exercise where
Yeah.
a much different approach was.
Where and it's still up in the air, but one of the ideas discussed, and only one of many, was coming into the building in a completely different way, coming in through the cafe, and there at that point there would be the possibility of quite a big office down there, possibly for there were two lots of staff together or separated, but they're behind glass, but when people walked in they could see a person, which we felt was desirable.
Okay.
So
Can I just say that, just slightly don't agree with you about it coming from the visioning, because the word requirement was never in that bit, so I'm a bit puzzled about where that came from.
Yeah.
And it seemed to come from Alex Gray. You said, what are your requirements? And I don't know where that began, Andy, that's all I'm saying.
I think that was
Visioning-
in response to, this request for something, and he said, well, what are you after?
I mean there are
The trustees knew nothing about it when it was presented to them first.
other, well, if they'd come to the meeting, if they'd come to the visioning meeting, they'd have known.
It didn't come from there, that's what I was saying,
no.
it came from a working group.
No, it came first from the visioning meeting.
No, working group.
What's the working group?
I guess it came. It was there.
There isn't a working group.
There isn't a working group.
The only working group that works on the Civic is
No.
doing VAT.
Yeah, that's the working group at the moment.
And the lease, the lease.
Meeting that we had.
No, you brought up case and we all went, and then we looked at the long list of things on the spreadsheet, and you're right, there was something in there, but it wasn't this, quite. That's what I mean, it's a little bit of a muddle. I know what you mean,
Anyway.
yeah.
I mean, there is a broader issue than where the staff sit and how much space they need. We need to look at, I mean, there are things that came up in that architects meeting about we'd like rooms to be able to be made smaller and bigger relatively easily. We'd like, we want a bigger meeting room for the public and
Yeah,
things
the
like
requirement
that.
is also us, isn't it?
Yeah.
You
But
know, in terms of when
what we
need-
didn't know, and don't quite know where to look at, what are the legal requirements of how many square feet per person you have to have in an
Come on,
office? And things like that.
But the architect would say that, that's a question you could ask an architect.
Well, you could probably, actually, we could probably Google it right now. It's not a
But
secret.
it has got a bit muddled, this thing, it has got very
I think
muddled.
that this is in another meeting. We need to sit down. Possibly, maybe we could do it at service provision if you. No, your service provision. And go through
Wait a second,
from
it's
top to
F&N,
bottom
actually.
about
It's F&N.
who said what when, who knows what, who understood what, and create a list of what the trustees believe, what the trustees know, what the trustees have been told, and what we believe, what we know, and what we've been told, and see if we can make them match up somewhere, because we are working alongside, but not.
It's
But
Chinese
not
whispers
properly,
at
yeah.
the moment.
Can I suggest that, we're moving outside of staffing
Yeah, we're
matters
taking
now,
up
really.
time.
So I think, the staffing thing in terms of the needs of the staff and being in that space, I think we should just park for now because
Yeah.
the staff are not asking for anything different. But I think, separately we should be looking at the bigger
Yeah.
thing of the civic
The
and the
idea.
visioning
The
and,
idea.
and actually include our visibility in the centre.
Okay, so we will defer that until we're all a bit clearer. But I would ask you as chair of services.
No, it's F&N.
It's you, Pat.
It's F&N.
It's finance and management.
Civic comes under.
Civic got moved over.
Oh, of course it did, yes.
I think we could do with £5.
Item 28, Jen's toil. Should this be in private session? Do we need to?
No, I don't, there's nothing to say, we're just going to defer
We're just
it.
noting
We'll just defer it
that
till
there
next.
was that expenditure there, right?
The rest is in private session, probably I should be out of the room.
So staffing and staff training budget, which we do want Rich here for, and then staffing costs,
Which we don't.
well, except we need the numbers that were asked for.
Is 31 and 29 not connected?
31.
31.
29 is this year's budget though, it's,
Oh,
it's
apologies.
not
Sorry.
particularly confidential.
Okay, apologies.
Right. Let's do 29 and then we'll decide whether it should or shouldn't be here for 30 or whether it's private or what. But what do you want us to be aware of on 29?
I mean, there wasn't a lot, and it wasn't stuff that you're not already aware of. You know, the only thing to note really is, as I've already told you, is that we're going to be about 3,000 over because of my calculation error when the budget was set up.
I mean, it's my impression that it says to consider further actions. I don't think we have anything there.
No.
So, are you all content not to make any further action? Right. Now, the thing about the motion by Councillor Barnett, we may want you out of the room, but he's asked you for some numbers, hasn't it? Well, in fact, since he's not here, I'm going to suggest that we defer this until he is here to make his point.
Do you want to speak on his behalf?
No, I don't.
No, I'm only asking. I'm only asking because
I'm just wondering whether we should be off camera for a start.
Why?
Well, it's not. No, I don't think so.
No, we're not saying anything we want. I mean, Councillor Barnett, he's not here. He asked for some numbers and he wants to make a point about them. And I'm just saying, since he isn't here, we should defer it to a later meeting when he will be here. That's okay for the public to know, isn't
We
it?
have had the numbers.
Right.
They're there.
Yeah, but
But we haven't got him to answer.
we don't know what the argument is.
So one of the things I'm trying to say is, I mean, the genie's out of the lamp now. And I had a discussion this morning, nothing to do with this, with Gemma, who's quite understandably a little bit nervous about what's happening. So
Right.
to simply defer something for another 6 weeks, I don't think is perhaps appropriate. I think we need to come up
Okay.
with something.
Okay, well, in which case we will agree that we are going to talk about it. We'll switch the camera off.
Can I just say something? I had a...
The camera's on. remember.
Sorry?
Is it okay for you to say
Yes,
this?
yes. I had some vague recollection that Jen was doing a wholesale staff, it would be an externally run wholesale assessment in staffing review. Now that started about 2 years ago, and it's been had of necessity to be put off several times. Largely because of the reconstitution of our committee structures, really. So what I was going to suggest is that the motion that we've got it addresses one part of it, but my suggestion is that we do proceed with this fundamental staffing review at the beginning of the next
Council year.
because it does need to be done, and I mean, and looking at staffing efficiencies is an important part of our role, and I think we're probably best doing it kind of in a fundamental way, but with some external advisor. So that would be my suggestion.
Right.
I spoke to Jen today because I'd only got this vague recollection, anyway, it turned out my vague recollection was correct, that Jen has got this on her, has had this on her to-do list for quite a while.
Yeah.
So that's what we will do. We will, on Jen's return to work, she can get in touch with the person and we can get moved and get put in place, a
Put it
review
in
to
place.
start in the new council year in
Yes.
May. Yeah?
Mm. Yeah. Can I-
Andy?
Yeah, I mean, I think it's regrettable that Councillor Allen's not here tonight to speak to this.
Yeah.
I mean, it's something he's raised, but it puts us in a bit of an awkward position, I think. And I think, you know, there is something here, there's a proposal that we should perhaps vote on, even if it's to say we can't do anything with it. I don't believe that 5 of us anyway should be making
No, no.
decisions
No.
of this magnitude. I don't think we should.
No,
I
no.
don't think it's right. Despite all of that, I think there are some points that come out of that analysis and some points that perhaps Councillor Barnett's raised that we could talk about and maybe make some decisions on. But the fundamental, should we reduce the numbers of staff, I just don't think it's appropriate for this. And certainly not.
And I agree with you, and I think probably having the independent person looking at the entire staffing thing would be a better way
Yeah.
rather than pick one corner of it out. Lawrence, you wanted to say something?
No, I'll not say anything now.
Okay. So are we agreed we will do what Mary just outlined?
Do you want me to put that forward as a motion? or
Yeah.
putting that
I
forward
think
as a
you probably need to do Councillor Barnett's motion
Yeah.
first though. I think you need to,
You've got to decide what we're doing.
Can we not defer it to be part of the bigger? Okay, well let's switch the camera off and do Isaac's motion.
Why are we switching the camera off?
Mm.
This is, we shouldn't be getting down to.
you should, it's whether I'm in the room is the issue.
Not
I don't think the camera should be
No,
off.
I don't think it should be off. This
Well,
is
then
about.
if you go into the room, you can watch it afterwards.
Well, that's not the point, is it?
No, could I just say, I think we're talking about principles here and
Yeah.
how we operate.
Yeah.
This isn't about individuals, it's not about personalities.
Yeah.
And that's why, A, I don't think you should have the camera off, and B, I don't think Rich needs to go out.
Right, okay. If you would prefer to go out, you can, but we don't feel you need to.
So,
Okay?
let's not vote on the motions if we haven't had a discussion and we haven't asked.
Yeah, we're about to talk about it now.
Well, I mean, you have to, obviously you have to go to, you know, somebody has to propose it and second it. If there's no proposals or seconders for what Councillor Barnett has proposed, then you don't go anywhere. That's it.
Yeah. So, is there somebody to propose Councillor Barnett's
I mean,
motion?
there's multiple motions. There's
there's
more than one. There's more
Right,
than
we'll have to
one.
go through them
more than one
separately.
motion.
Right. I looked at these earlier and kind of got flummoxed.
Well, part 1 is immediate changes to the administrative support structure.
So this is for a discussion first.
Are we discussing first?
Or do we need to
we
propose
need
it,
to
then we
propose
discuss
the
it?
motion first and have a seconder, otherwise it falls.
Yeah.
Which motion are you talking about?
Well, all of them, we start with number 1, which
Right,
is.
number 1, is there a proposer? No, so it falls. Number 2, is there a proposer? No, that falls. Number 3? That falls.
I
Andy?
don't know that it falls into number 3. I was saying I think there are other things that come out of the sort of report that we might want to have a look at. And one that I think we could do something on is working groups and how we structure them and what our expectations of the clerking team in regard to those. And I think usefully we could probably do something around that.
Tonight?
Whether that's part 3.
Yeah.
I have looked at 1 or 2 other councils and they do have some fairly clear policies on how to, the use of working groups. And I don't think we have anything like that, so I think it might be useful.
Well, yes, I mean, they've they've kind of developed as we've needed them. And and not been given a formal outline. Some of them have no clerking input other than when they're finished with and they're dealt with.
It's fairly clear from the report that the significant clerking hours going into these working groups.
40 hours in a year.
What?
No, it's
40
not-
hours in a year. Have a look.
No, but the
It's
fact is,
less than an hour a week.
Yes.
the assistant clerk is basically counting everything she does as being an outcome from the work from the essentially the
I think-
communications engagement working group. But
Yeah.
it would
I think
that, a lot of that would still exist anyway.
See, I'm not, and although we've got figures here, I'm not entirely convinced how good these figures are, because I know that Richard collated them, but I think there's a lot of interpretation involved there. So which is why I think, rather than trying to make a change here, that we should go for a wholesale and certainly examine the issue that Andy's raised. And obviously any restructuring or consideration needs to start with the what are the fundamental aims of the council. You know, we need that is the starting point really, and the way in which the working groups carry that forward. So I don't think we should be doing piecemeal things, which is what I feel that these motions are. I think we need to go for a wholesale consideration. And I'm not sure that in this, and we do need a better understanding of the role of working groups.
Yeah. Glenn?
Can I ask a question? And this is before my time as a councillor, so apologies. Isn't Gemma's role fairly recent? So prior to that, did you just have yourself and Gemma?
No, I mean, well, it was a strange situation. We had a climate emergency coordinator back in the day. So she wasn't an officer of the parish council. It was a slightly strange role. She didn't clerk the meetings, but she did all the work to do with the climate emergency.
And she was paid a salary not dissimilar, near similar to what Gemma gets.
I think as well. I think Jen's hours have gone down as well. I don't know whether any of the other councillors remember, but I'm sure she was doing 30 hours or
Right.
and then that's come down to 25.
So there's more work for us to do. But I guess
Yes,
the question I'm asking is, at some point, probably in the previous council, that council has made a decision to take on Gemma to do a form of communication, and so there must have been a reason why that
Well,
happened.
it was half planning
Right,
and half comms.
right, okay.
And if
From my recollection, I mean the climate emergency committee had Michelle Brown, wasn't it? Who was like a secretary. She wasn't part of the clerking team. She left, and I think, correct me if I'm wrong, but I think Gemma took that role on. And at some point we brought her into the
Gemma
clerking team.
always had planning, all from the outset. That was one of the main.
That role ended. It was
Why did we take Gemma on then?
to do as we're saying, she was taken on to do planning and to do it was basically because I was doing planning, if you remember.
Yes.
I was doing I had tons of toil, so it was to kind of relieve me, and then it was to the awareness that we needed to do more with social media and communications and engagement, that kind of thing.
On the new committee, she was never on the old climate emergency committee. She was half planning and half the new committee, broadly speaking.
But Michelle did leave, didn't she?
Yeah, but the role finished.
Well finished, yeah.
Did it?
It was, I think it was a 1 year thing or
I
two.
think
No,
what you
I
might be
don't think
thinking
that's
of
true.
is that there was some inherited stuff that Gemma took on, like doing the bike day down at France. That was like a legacy of the year before, but it wasn't her bag really. She was just.
Can we go to Mary's point though? I think we're diddling around and we're wasting time, quite frankly, and we're getting nowhere. I think we need to decide, are we going to discuss aspects of staffing, deployment and whatnot, and pick at bits and pieces, Or do we wish to leave it for an independent person to do a root and branch overlook of it all, an assessment of it all? And I'm going to ask you to vote on that. Andy, speak.
Yeah, I'm okay with the root and branch, so long as it has the working group thing in that we've talked about, that's fine.
Yeah. Oh yeah, but that would be an important part. Yeah, absolutely. So, can I? Does somebody want to propose either that we do talk about the detail or that we don't? But so we can vote for one way or the other. Mary, do you want to propose what you outlined?
Sorry, I didn't quite follow that.
Are you going to propose?
Propose that we don't talk
A
about
root and branch review
Oh, I
of
see.
by an independent assessor in the new at the beginning, early in the new council
to
year.
include the use of working groups.
Well, it will include the entire structure, won't it? That's what the root and branch review would do. Yeah, I want to propose that, early in the new council year, that a comprehensive review of the staffing structure is undertaken, carried out by an external advisor.
Right.
Will that do?
All those in seconded. Right. Thank you. So by Alistair. All those in favour. Right. That's unanimous.
Okay, do you want to, is that a separate part of the budgetary process? Then? That'll cost
We'd
a
better
few-
put it in the budget.
That'll cost a bit of cash,
Yeah.
won't it? So that'll be something to recommend to council.
Yeah.
What do you think?
Yeah.
How much do these sort of things cost?
Right, let me get back to where I was.
You're asking the question.
I'm asking the question, yeah.
Oh, sorry, how much do they cost? I have no idea.
I
We'll
suppose
have
the
to
first
find
thing is
out.
we need to explore who would do it and how much that would cost.
So there has been, this issue
But
has
it's
been
been
around
moved
for
to
a while,
the
so
side,
I
yeah.
assume that, there must have initially been some.
Yeah, Jen may have somebody in mind, I mean, a particular,
So, yeah, I suppose this committee doesn't necessarily, as long as we have something to share with council when the budget is
Yeah.
finally agreed, I suppose that's fair enough, isn't it?
but when Jen gets back, we probably need her as a matter of urgency to revisit this and
Sure.
to get some
Yeah.
costings for
Yeah.
it.
I did speak with her today about this, and she's happy that this could be a way of proceeding if we voted
Okay.
for it.
Okay, so we've done 29, we've done 30. Staffing budget 26-27. Yes, we need to look at the salaries and things. We probably shouldn't have you here for this one, should we?
Okay.
We've got a question on your budget G, which we are inclined to approve. Did you include the salary rise Gemma would get if she did take her exam? We've overlooked this before.
That's a very good point. No, I did not.
So can we approve G plus that?
I guess so, yep.
A contingency.
Yep.
Yeah. Because we've done this every time, haven't we, where
Yeah.
we've overlooked that it brings a salary increase. I know you've got it in the training budget if she's going for the training,
Is
but
it,
the salary.
is it significant enough to need to do that without putting?
It was over a couple of grand.
No, I mean she'll go up one.
You go
Salary
up
point.
a point.
It's normally it's like an extra 50 quid a month. So
Oh, it's a fair bit. Yeah. Right. So I think what we are somebody propose, please, that we want to.
I propose that we accept G plus 1,000.
okay.
Seconded. Thank you. All those in favour? That's it. Right. And then training budget. I think we're happy with that. Your recommendations for laptops and stuff looks good to me.
Is that based on an actual quote, or is that just based on some money that happens?
No, I looked at what the other two laptops were, and they're about 400 the laptops, and I can't remember how much we charged the bloke to set it up. It was probably 150 quid maybe. Something like that.
So are we happy with that? Can we approve that?
Yeah, well, to keep it going so long.
Yeah.
It seems quite something.
Do you want to talk through the training received by officers?
Yeah, I mean, there's, so in terms of the stuff I did, like I said, I did the sort of half-hour chat GPT thing, which was interesting. The woman doing it was a real apostle of AI. In a different way to the cloud AI. She wasn't trying to make money, she just
She was just in love with it all.
thinks it's a good thing. The VAT thing was very useful in the sense that you know, you always learn things which mean you have to undo things that you've just done
Yeah.
in the previous meeting. So remember all the debate we had about the VAT on garages or storage
Yes.
units?
Yes.
That's no longer true.
Oh,
So they stopped doing that in 2012. So we've got to pay VAT on the garage or the storage unit. So we'll have to undo our resolution from last month. The village halls one might have been more useful before the start of all our discussions about the civics. It was about different ways that you might manage or organise the lease, that kind of stuff. So
Yeah.
it probably came too late, unfortunately.
Yeah. Okay, thank you.
That's it.
So we're noting that. Upcoming training to approve. I see no objection to any of that.
Yeah.
Is there any further action you require of us?
No.
No? Anything anybody needs, I know we don't have AOB, but given that it's been a rather rumbling meeting, are we content are we content we are where we are and we're doing what we want to do and we've been fair to Isaac and all that? I mean, we're not...
Was there anything that when I was out of the room where you made decisions, like with regard to the the 28 one?
The other stuff matter.
Yeah.
We did, and Glenn will be dealing with it. It's...
We're going to follow the council's proposals.
Glenn's going to do an investigation.
So we'll do
And
this.
then
We're going to investigate a
And
complaint.
then we'll set up a working party
Okay.
to look at those, the outcome of the investigation.
And we'll set up an appeals
Okay.
panel, as you know, all that sort of thing. But essentially, we're investigating a complaint.
Okay.
Which we will be doing, hopefully within the 20 days we're supposed to in our procedure. Thank you for your patience.
Quick steps in, isn't it?
And all the work you did for us to get in. Thank you, everybody. I think we've moved forward.
Yeah, well done. Well done.
All right, okay.
So